large request, I have the honor to introduce Alisha Fowler, an educator at the Alliance for Climate Education. After working at Massburg and the National Wildlife Foundation, Alisha now educates students, high school students, middle school students, to become their own voices for climate change. First by telling them the science behind the problems, and then by giving them the tools and the ability to create their own change in their communities and work on their own projects. She's here tonight to tell us about how we can create a positive vision for our future. So everyone,
So I do public speaking for a living now with high school students, but I still get a little nervous, and I need to plug something in. Can I get some help from somebody to switch this to PC2? My boss told me to tell climate jokes. Does anybody have anything? Yes. Welcome back, Power Shift West class of 2009. And we'll get to what that is about in a minute. But first I want to know, are there any other high school students here? Any high school students in the audience? That is fantastic. I'm really glad everybody's here. I'm really glad there's some high school students here. So Alliance for Climate Education, we call ourselves ACE. Sounds a lot cooler. It doesn't sound like the Alliance for Climate Protection. And what we do is we go into high schools and we talk to high school students about climate change. I was at PA Power Shift a couple weeks ago. That's my home state, and so that was a really big honor. And it's great to be here too. And yeah, we educate about climate change, talk about consequences, but really what I've noticed with students, going off what Jeremy was saying, is students really get amped about solutions, what's going to happen in their lifetimes, and what they can do to make a difference. Like, scary stuff, yeah, we've all heard it before. And so, just to give you a little background on our organization, we will reach about 140,000 high school students across the country this fall, and we're going to hopefully reach about 1.3 million high school students by the end of 2011. So we're ramping up fast, and we're really, really passionate about what we do, and we're sparking up in different states around the country, and I hope we will be in Oregon soon. And so really, yeah, for the past 2 years, I've been going around and talking to high school students about climate change, giving presentations just about everywhere. Really big high schools, really small high schools, places where people booed me, places where I got applauded. And really what it comes down to is, you know, people plug into climate change and what they think about it from a variety of avenues. And I've started to learn a lot about social values. What do people care about? How do you get people interested in what you're saying? And as a young person working with other young people, I've learned some really amazing things. And I want to share them with you and then show you a video that I wish I could say I created, but I created, you know, part of the story. So young people are powerful, and we are ready to reinvent the future. We're really ready. We're all here. Another thing about that, though, is that, you know, we can really tap into that with people that aren't here tonight, but maybe would be, by really telling them and creating a collective vision of the future, really going off what Jeremy was saying. And, you know, we all know that climate change is dangerous, real, it needs to be stopped yesterday. But the thing that really I found people are motivated by are visions of the future and what that means in their own lives, in their own communities, because that's, you know, that's where we are every day, right? We don't live everywhere at once. Well, we can be on the internet. So, you know, not every student that I meet agrees that we should do something about climate change. They certainly, you know, people actually engage with me, which I really appreciate too. I don't, you know, I enjoy those conversations, but I guess an example of that would be I gave a presentation in San Francisco to a school for young moms, and I was at Earth Day of all days, so I was like, you guys, the climate's falling apart, there's polar bears and there's ice caps and this big disaster, and like their kids were in the next room, and I realized very quickly that people have a whole different set of pressing priorities, and not, I mean, why would you care about melting ice caps if you've got something else going on in your own life right there? But when I started talking to students about, you know, how you can make better choices for your life and for your family, that also have something to do with saving the planet or going green or making more sustainable choices, their ears perked up. And afterwards, One girl actually ended up starting a compost system at her high school and switching everybody from plastic diapers to organic diapers and realizing it didn't necessarily cost more. And these women actually applied for a scholarship with us, and she got $2,500 for higher education, and she's going to be a police officer. I'm not saying we made all that happen, but it was really cool to see how we could make, talk to people and engage in a conversation that meets people where they're at. And obviously, as you're going to see in a video here in a minute, a lot of people are taking on really ambitious projects. And so, two more things. We're amazing forces of change, and we are bold enough to dream bigger than our current reality. A lot of us have a vision of what our future looks like. And I believe that that has the power to overcome political boundaries and inertia that we are all experiencing right now. That vision is more powerful than Congress's lack of political will. Yeah. It is. What I'd like to do is really show you guys a collective vision of the future, something that we created through looking and interviewing and talking with a lot of different climate activists, and show you just one vision of what the future could look like. And so I'm going to ask you to travel with me into the future to the year 2050. We'll be a little bit older and more gray, but it'll be worth it because you're going to see some cool stuff. And as we look at this, I want you to just know that big things can happen, and they really do start with groups of people a lot like this group right here. And so going off of that, we can just see the kind of world that we are going to see.